Divine coding or genetic programming. If you're able to see the illustration to your left, you see in the Tetragrammaton, the ancient Semitic letters, the name of Yahweh, which translates as what? I am that I am. Sometimes I be what I be, or I create what I create. Most popular is I am that I am, and you see that the Tetragrammaton makes up the body of man. Man is male, female. To your right, if you can see that, please try to move it over there a little bit. It talks about the genetic programming of man. See, we have a divine coding in us, but we have also, since we've been born from our mother's womb, been genetically programmed by someone else. And that genetic programming is to knock us off of our divine coding. That's right. So let's look at this word first, code. Can we go there to the word code? And I'm going to ask Brother Sekou if he could read that for us so that everyone will understand what it is. If he can see it. Can you see it, Brother Sekou? Oh, Brother Yabar is going to read it for us. Thank you.
Coding, the process of assigning a code to something for the purpose of classification, identification, or for any assignment, a particular type of work.
So when we were created in the image and the likeness of the Creator and the Creatress, what they did when they said, let us create man. Man does not mean me and the brothers. Man, Hadam, in the Hebrew, only means living being. Man, according to Genesis 5, is made up of two sexes. A male man and a female man. And Genesis 5:2 said when the Creator looked at the man and woman, he called their name Adam. Adam. So Adam was not the man's, as you know, name. It belonged to both of them. And it said that Hadam, whose name was Zakar, in the ancient Phoenician Hebrew, Zakar means remember. And what does the Most High wants us to do? Remember me. So he said, remember your Creator in the days of your youth, that when you get older, you will not forget me. Right?
Yes, sir.
Zakar named the female Hawa. Hawa means life, because she is the mother of all that lives.
Yes, sir.
So when we were created in image and likeness of the God and the Goddess, we were coded with the Spirit of the Most High. Meaning, the God and the Goddess is in us. This is image and likeness, because image is what? A mirror reflection. Likeness means the character and the nature of. We look like God and Goddess, and we have the character nature of. So when we put any image on our wall of anything other than ourselves, and we worship those images, we're worshiping something lesser than whom we are. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
So when you honor your parents, you don't get the picture of a white man, white woman put on the wall. You get a picture of your parents.
Right.
So why is it that our God and Goddess has been replaced with European pictures? Some of us use Buddhist pictures. We're not Chinese. We're not Indian. We don't need Krishna or none of them. We need ourselves. If you really want a picture of God on your wall, put a mirror in the place. And every time you walk past, say, good morning, God. Because you're looking at God's reflection. You're looking at the Goddess reflection. So we've been coded. Let's go to the next page, please. And let us read this. So we know what the word code means, right? All right, read that for us, please, brother.
Ye are God, Psalms 82, verse 6, and John 10 chapter, verse 34. Our Father, Matthew, chapter 23, verse 9, and Luke 11, verse 2. Let them have dominion, Genesis 1, verse 26.
Ashe. So the word code means you have what? Classified something, identified it, and given it a purpose, a mission, a work. or a job. So the Most High has classified us first as gods and goddesses.
Yes.
You are gods. Isn't that what David said? Yes. Then when they went to kill Yahshua for calling himself a God, Yahshua whom they called Jesus, he said, why do you seek to kill me? And they said, because you being a man call yourself a God. And he said, is it not written that you are gods? Why you kill me for calling myself what you are? Right? Yes, so we have been classified as gods and goddesses. We have been identified as the children of the Most High. So when Yahshua's disciples and master teach us to pray, what did he say? Our Father. Not my Father. Our Father. That makes Yahshua a son. Not God. Isn't it right?
That's right.
God don't pray to God.
You don't have to.
So we have been classified, we have been identified, and we've also been given a mission, a job. What is our mission? It's right there in Genesis. See, that's why we got to stop classifying the Bible as a white man's book and reread it from our ancient writings, because he only translated it. If he translated it, that means he did not write it.
That's right.
Isn't that right?
That's right.
If he tampered with it, that means originally he did not come up with it.
That's right.
So if the Creator said have dominion, then our job, brothers and sisters, is to have dominion over the earth. That's our job. Now, dominion means rule. Does it not?
Yes, sir.
Who made us the servants?
The original niggas.
Said it, the original niggas. All praise. See, somebody know the condemnation of the GD. See, the nigga is not the black man. The nigga is a mentality. But in the GD, I explained that it took a nigga to make a nigga. So every time he call you a nigga, he's calling you himself. Right? Because he didn't capture any niggas
No, sir.
and enslave them. They had to go through a process of what they call breaking.
Yes,
Right? They had to take the God out you, break the goddess out you, and put the nigga in you. And in order to put the nigga in you, the nigga had to be first in. All right, man. So our divine coding is the creator and the creatress coding. But something has happened because we don't follow that word code anymore, because code means what? Law. There's a natural law in us.
That's right.
It's a natural law for me to respect my wife and every sister. It's a natural law in me for me to embrace my brother. It's a natural law in me that if I see a black child in danger, I jump between the child and the danger.
Right.
That's my coding.
Right.
That's my law. But somebody has programmed me that I no longer react naturally according to the law, and I act now according to a program. Let's look at that word program. Huh? That's how they get us, right? Through program. We always say, man, we've been programmed. Yes, we have. We're going to prove it.
Yes, sir.
Let's look up the word programming.
Programming, creating a sequence of instructions to enable a computer, machine, persons, or people to do something. A, setting an order or time for planned events. B, to train to behave, act, or to think in the predominant way.
Predetermined.
Predetermined, excuse me.
That last one. All of them clears up, but that last one. To behave, to act, to speak, right?
Right.
To greet one another in a negative manner. What's up, my nigga? Who taught you to say that? Brothers in the urban street don't come up with these.
No, sir.
Y'all know they give us our slang?
They do.
Most definitely.
Do you know they print urban dictionaries? They give us most of our slang is really positive. Any negative slang they slip to us through what? Movie and music, etc., etc. But our slang was negative. We saw sisters back in the day, hey baby, hey beautiful. We didn't say, oh B, you good, you look good. We didn't call sisters a B
No, not at all.
or a hoe. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, you call a brother, come on, my older brother, you call a brother nigga, you for him.
Oh, you got a problem.
When you said nigga, he was like, what you call me? It wasn't no endearing term, was it?
No.
You called a black man a nigga, you fought
Those are
him.
niggas.
And you called sister anything out of her name, you got smacked.
Yeah, well,
And if she didn't smack you, she found her brother, her cousin,
right.
or some man close by.
Come deal with this.
Come deal with it.
Yeah.
So who programmed us with all this negativity? The man who programmed us here at the SUAN, we call him the devil. So some of the gods and goddesses in this day and time are now programmed to the devil's mentality.
Most definitely.
And we who are righteous or say we're righteous or strive to be righteous, we have to bring those brothers and sisters back to their true what? Nature. Because nature comes from the word nature. Nature is God. Goddess. Netaru. God, goddess. That's our nature. Our nature is to be like our God and our goddess.
That's right. That's right.
But now we have the nature of the enemy. Let's go to a picture up here real quick. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Can y'all see that picture? This has like a program, a gun. The eyes are clear. And it's like someone's programming their minds. Can you read those two, Brother Yubaya? Can you see them?
The art of human trafficking.
Human hacking.
Hacking, excuse me. I can't hardly listen.
Social engineering.
All right. Social engineering and what?
The art of human hacking.
Hacking. The art of human hacking means they're hacking into your mind. Social engineering. They're engineering you socially. Because out of the word social comes society. These two words are connected. We have a corrupt society because socially the devil is in the midst of us, programming us, and we are mindless. Like a computer, our minds today have been hacked.
That's right.
It's been hacked. Somebody has been tampering and messing with us. So let's look at that picture again and understand these words. If you are coded with the spirit of your God and your goddess, and you have a natural law in you, but now you have been hacked and tampered with mentally, how can you now have dominion? You see why we don't have power? It is not that the devil is stronger than us that he has taken away our dominion. He has weakened us mentally, whereas we can no longer function. And if you cannot function as a king or a queen or a god or a goddess, surely the responsibility of a kingdom would be too much. Right? It's like giving a child the duty of running the household.
Right.
It can't happen. Let's go to our next clip. Let's look at this word again. Can you read that for us, Brother Yabai? And as he's preparing, we want to say peace to Brother Tabidi and
Peace, family.
Sister Nalini.
Peace, peace.
My apologies, bogus directions.
Oh, that's no problem.
Yes.
Peace and blessings. All right.
A. Coding. To be given a system of laws compiled in an orderly sequence, a following, a succession. B. Programming. To provide something to someone with an automatic response, duty, task, job, or mission.
Coded means that you have the nature of God in you, but you still have your own mind. I would call it free will. The Most High didn't make you a robot. I have created you gods and goddesses like myself. No one rules me and tell me what to do. I'm going to give you the power to have dominion over the earth, and no one will rule you and tell you what to do. Your only job is to be submissive to me and my laws. Now, that won't too hard because we're not controlled. Because free will means I have also given you the ability to disobey me. Isn't that right? You can choose to follow me or not. That's how godly you are. That God gave you the ability to disobey God. That's a powerful thing, right? But we've been programmed, and the difference between being coded with the law of God and being programmed, the word program has in it a word automatic. You got a car with automatic cruise control, right? Cars are automatic, not shift anymore. Means it's made easier, but it's programmed to do it automatically. No one has to tell you. So when you've been programmed by the devil, he can step back. He don't have to tell you to kill your brother anymore. He don't have to tell you to call your sister a whore or a b. He don't have to tell you to corrupt your own community. You've been programmed, so he steps back. And he allows you now to carry on. Which movie was it, honey, we was watching, and the devil said, no, it wasn't. It was a documentary. I watched the documentary on Adolf Hitler. I told you I watch everything historical. And Adolf Hitler stated, once we get the people where we want them to be, we step back. They would do it themselves. He was a dynamic leader because he knew how to program his nation. Anytime one man or woman can unify an entire nation and they got the nation moving according to the way they want them to move, that's not a dumb being. Maybe an evil being, but not a dumb being. And oh, thank you. And it was also in the documentary The Panther. It said the same thing. J. Edgar Hoover. And COINTELPRO, they touched on that. J. Edgar Hoover also said, we can now leave them alone. They're going to do it themselves. Meaning they've been programmed. This is the danger. And why is this important? Because we call ourselves, again, gods and goddesses, kings and queens. We call ourselves African. We call ourselves Kemetic. We call ourselves Moor. We call ourselves Hebrews. But guess what? Spiritually, we're still programmed. Because we are afraid to really step into that ancient culture.
Come on, Don.
Truly. Yesterday we was at Baba Khalifa's. It was for the raising and the net turtle ranches in financial trouble. Here's a man that has published 3 of my books, but he has published from Virginia all the way to the West Coast, from Florida all the way up to New York. This man has published many black books for black writers. Used to do some publication for a nation. Open up on his homeland the Nat Turner Library. Why hasn't all these conscious, religious, and spiritual black people donated over the years to help keep this alive? Because we really don't believe all this black talk we say. Handful of people yesterday. Memorial Day. We at the beach. Other little, Labor Day. Other little celebrations, right? But when we need each other, we're not really there. We've been programmed. Because the first thing come around, come on, brothers and sisters, I've been guilty of it. I don't celebrate none of his so-called hallowed, how you call it, Brother B? Hallowed days. But the first thing that happened, holiday, man. And we, who's supposed to be one, don't support, even if it's a block party in a black neighborhood. We'd rather go to his events. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Just like on St. Patrick's Day. Y'all see all them Negroes out there drinking green beer. His beer is not real beer. Africans made beer. Just so you know. You look in the records, we made beer in Africa. But it was natural. His beer filled with chemicals. And to make it green, you done added something else now. What's eating my liver up now? See, these things we got to think about, because you know the devil can't do nothing righteous. Everything he says good for you is bad.
That's right.
Isn't that right?
That's right.
All the good foods he said good for you now, come and find out they're cancerous. So we have to be very, very careful. But we've been set on automatic programming. Let's look at Genesis 1:26. Y'all already know it, but let's really look at it. Can you see it, Brother Levi?
Yes, sir.
I'll make sure you can get it, brother. Yes, sir.
And let them have dominion over. These words were spoken by Yahweh.
This is the God, and the God is speaking. Why I say the God and the God is because the Tetragrammaton is made up of 2 masculine characters or letter, the Y and the H. The Y and the W, and 2 feminine letters or what they call characters or pictogram, and that's the H. And the H is there double, meaning that the name of Yahweh is both masculine and feminine. All right? Let you know, God is not a man alone, not a woman alone.
Right.
All right? So when he created male and female, as they say, in his image, he was creating male and female in her image. All right? But he said, let them have dominion what? Over. There is nothing on this planet that's supposed to subdue you. How did the youngest creature, he's younger than the dog. Every animal on the planet is older than him. We're older than him. How did the youngest creature on the planet become the ruler? Through programming. See, we got to read that Bible correctly. The Most High said to Hawa, the woman they call Eve, he said what? After the turmoil, he said, I will put enmity. That's a natural hatred.
Yes, it is.
I will put enmity between your seed and the serpent's seed. Isn't that offspring?
Yeah.
That means the serpent is a being who's going to have offspring, children. I'm going to put a natural hatred between my children and your children. Ain't got nothing to do with a snake. That's only symbolic. It represents the nature of the being. And the Creator said to the snake, you will be the lowest of all creatures. You'll crawl. Symbolically. Who lower than the white man?
Nobody.
Huh?
Nobody.
Ain't nobody. Animals won't do what the snake really don't do what the white man does. So you can't say the snake is the devil. The snake does by nature what the snake is supposed to do.
Right.
Nobody is lower than this creature. I don't have to go in detail. Y'all know him. Right?
That's right.
So although we were coded to follow divine laws, we have now been programmed. We don't exercise free will anymore. No, we don't. We do what society tells us to do. The new Jordans come out, we running bound. We don't think. New Jordans. We've been programmed. New video game, programmed. You got a nice TV sitting at home, but they got a wider screen. It has more visibility. It's clearer and the color is more crisp. Don't need it? Program. So then they come up with Black Friday. Program. We tear the gates down. Y'all see video? We tear the doors off the department stores.
Yes.
We fighting and killing each other in there. Now the devil got us programmed so much, we're fighting over sandwiches. Chicken sandwiches. Processed. Thank you. Not real chicken. Processed chicken. The man got us programmed. Whatever we sell them, they won't think about it. They're just going to move on it. And that's why we have to be very careful, because if we were given dominion over, we're staying at the bottom because we don't want to break the devil's program.
Wow, dog.
That's really what it is. We love being programmed because being programmed means you don't have to take responsibility of yourself.
Let it go.
And responsibility means I now have to provide for me. This is why we have all this talent and all the skills lying dormant in the black community, because we don't want to take the responsibility of doing for self.
Right.
Doc, it's easy for me just to work for the man and get a paycheck. Pay yourself. All the skills we have, we can build our own homes, we can have our own schools, we can have our own communities. Everybody else does it. Look how quick the Latinos did it.
That's right.
Came over here, as we say, yesterday. If you look around you, they came over here cleaning, right? The women was cleaning, the men was cutting grass. Now they drive, they used to, I'm a little older, used to see a little small 2-seat Toyota pickup. And you see 4 of them right there. Now they driving by themselves, the big Toyota Tundras. They now have their own services to do the yards. Their women came over here cleaning for white folks, things our mothers did back in the day. But what did they do? They said, hey, sisters, let us come together and open up our own companies. Now they have their own cleaning services. We experienced it. They got their own staffing company now, temp service. Who do you think they're employing first?
Exactly.
Why can't we do it? Program. All right. So we've been programmed, we're set on automatic to do what we are told. or programmed to do by them, and not what the Creator gave us by nature to do. Let us go to our next clip. We're going to read from the Meta Nature. You see that, brother?
I can see it.
All right.
You want me to get it? On the indwelling divine intelligence of man. Through initiation, ritual, and meditation, you will learn to expand its functions to the external, physical part of your being, as well as to gain voluntary control over the involuntary processes.
Ashe. To be God-like or goddess-like is to know how to use your will voluntarily for the good, not just of yourself, but for all. And it says that when you get to this point where you're able to use your will voluntarily, not programmed. The Master, the Creator, did not program us. I gave you your will to use voluntarily. I said earlier, the Creator said you can obey or disobey. Read Deuteronomy chapter 28. You're going to see the history of you in America.
That's right.
And abroad. He said, if you choose, that's free will, not automatic. To do this, you will be blessed with this and this and that. If you choose to disobey me, he said you curse yourself. He said you will be poor in the city and in the field, meaning in the country, in the city, you're going to be poor. He said you will take a wife and another man will lay with her. Didn't that happen during the slave period?
Yeah.
He said you will have children, but they will not belong to you. If you read, go through Deuteronomy 28, you will read your whole history. How did the white man write that history of you? He didn't write it. Your God and your prophets and prophetess told you about it. You wrote it. He came up with a master plan to program you to believe that he wrote it. So when he said, as the sister said yesterday, servants, obey your masters.
That's right.
You'll be set on automatic. And we set on automatic. We obey him because he became the master. When in reality, all that is saying, if you read it correctly, it was talking about an employer-employee relationship. It was saying workers, obey them whom you work for. Because that's the one that's paying you, right? So in our own homeland, we worked for each other in different manners. If I work for Brother Lamont, I'm supposed to respect Brother Lamont. So why is it that we go on the jobs with the white folks and respect them? But if we worked under a black person,
Come on, dog.
we catch hell. Programming. We got to know how to read this book. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Bible is a powerful book if you know how to read it. The problem is we no longer know how to read it because we read it from an English interpretation and not from our interpretation. And you have to understand that English is a bastard's tongue. It's made up of everything. Isn't it right?
Yes, sir.
Banana is an African word.
It is.
Goober, the southern word for peanut, is an African word. Bubba, or nickname. Even they love to choose in the South the name Bubba for a son. Bubba is an African word meaning brother. A lot of our language has been evolved into this language. French and this and that. This is no real English. And then somebody tell you, man, you speaking improper English. Ain't no such thing as no improper English. English really don't exist. They're still trying to perfect English. That's why your dictionaries keep changing. I told you every 5 to 7 years they got to update it because the language changed. Because there is no language. That's why their own people over there in Britain and England mock them at the way they speak or how we speak over here because it's not real. Let's go to our next clip, please. All right. This enemy is crafty. Can you see that for us? I don't know which brother.
Involuntary. Done without will or conscious control. Automatic, unconscious, unthinking, unplanned. B. Mandatory force demanded against one's will.
Involuntary means you are controlled. You do something against your own will. So if you're programmed, you have been made to involuntarily, meaning against your own will, do something you really don't want to do. How is it that we can walk into to their so-called spiritual concepts, and we back away and fear our own. Because we're programmed to fear anything black or African, Yoruban, etc., right?
That's right.
But anything they give us under Christianity or Western or European, we embrace.
Psychosis.
I know it. We're in a business where we do Eastern style massage. People come in. If you're in America, you're getting Swedish, Western, or what they call European massage.
Yes.
Look it up. You don't find nothing. That's the three. That's the European style massage. European, Western, or Swedish. When they come through the door, my people. Eastern, what's that? It's scared. You see the fear. You hear the fear. What's that? Eastern brothers and sisters. And you try to, haven't you heard the word Eastern before? I'm talking to the grown folks and tell it, Eastern, like the East.
Beyond it.
But they are afraid because they know the East is not what? European, Western, or Swedish.
That's right.
We've been programmed to fear certain words that relate to us. Do y'all see how powerful this devil has become?
Yes, sir.
That he used words, signs, and symbols to trick us
Yes.
and to deceive us, and we can't see it. We don't know what that means. Let's go to Joshua real quick. I told you we're not going to be long. I like to check my time. Be true to my word. All right. Let's bypass that. Let's go to Joshua. We know we settle on that fear.
Okay.
Fear is the greatest enemy to man. All right?
Joshua 14:15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve.
Here, the Creator giving you a choice. He's not like the devil. I'm going to program you to fear me, to do everything I tell you. So the way I program you, I whipped you. I whipped the flesh off your back. How we used to say it back in the day when we were small, I made the white meat appear. Y'all know there was some serious beating, right? He said, I raped your men in front of you. Y'all know they did that, right? They took the biggest and strongest so-called buck and tied them down to the ground face first. This is a nasty devil. And put his women and children and other men all around, and he raped that brother.
To say the least.
To show that I got more power over the strongest one of you. He raped your little daughters. He raped and molested your sons. He took pregnant sisters and he tied them to 2 horses and beat the horses until it ripped her apart. He took your babies and he took them down to the swamps and used your babies for what? Gator bait. He burned you alive. He cut off your testicles. This is a funky devil now.
Yeah.
He cut off when the women were hanging their vaginas and breasts. Oh, this is the history you don't get, but it's there. The Calvary, the so-called powerful white men, excuse me, not the Buffalo Soldiers, but the Calvary, who was supposed to have saved everybody. They went around and they cut off the testicles, the penis, the vaginas, and the breasts of women. And guess how they used to parade them around? They either pinned them to their head or to their saddle as a mocking. No, you don't see that in the movie with John Wayne. That big cracker homosexual.
Yes, man.
But this is the true history of the Calvary. This man today, this is the devil that has programmed us to serve them. And when you tell brothers and sisters about serving their God and their goddess, are you talking spookies? If I don't believe in no God, but you serve this devil? And you do what this devil tells you to do?
Or none.
Huh? Who owns Hennessy? The devil. Who owns all the Loud and all the other brands we smoke?
White folk.
The devil. Who's producing your weed? The devil. Unless you're growing it at home. He's in control of it. And now we're marching with him, the devil, because we've been programmed to legalize it. If he legalizes it and control it, you're going to have the worst cancer you ever had. New disease is going to pop up.
Yes.
See, my grandmother used to grow tobacco. They grew it, they put it up in this little thing, and they let it smoke or dry out.
Let it rain down.
And my grandfather used to smoke. I seen them take that tobacco when they was ready for it, and all they did, they chopped it up. They had that little rolling paper. They rolled it up. There wasn't no filters, wasn't no chemicals. See, you got a difference now. Not that smoke was still good, but it wasn't no chemicals. See, we've been programmed. So here Joshua said, you got to choose this day, whether you will follow the code of the God that's in you, or you want to remain programmed. It goes on to say to follow the God of your fathers, or the gods on the other side. We on the other side now. All right. But he said, choose you this day whom you will serve. Why do we fear who we are? Why do we fear who we are? Why do we fear our powers and our abilities? Let's go to that last clip. Why do we fear our powers and our abilities? We have powers in us, right? Aren't you God and God is like? So you have powers and you have abilities. But words again, your powers and your abilities have been placed under something called witchcraft.
Yes, indeed.
Voodoo. Not voodoo, it's a different. Black magic. Right? Evil. Sinful. What does that say?
Genesis 1:26.
Let's read it again.
And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness.
That's correct there, because it's been translated in English. When you read it, he said, let us create. He's the made man. Create means you were brought out of the spirit of the Most High, which is why all your holy writings and your ancestors said when they passed or made that transition, I have to return. My spirit has to return to the spirit from whence I came. But he was a made man. When we transition, our body goes back into the earth. The spirit returns to the Most High because the flesh comes from the earth. The European didn't put himself in the earth. When you study his history, he did what? He burned himself because he didn't come from the earth.
Right.
And if you study history correctly from the Greco-Roman medical writings, they burned themselves and not put themselves back in the earth because when they passed, their body became poisonous. So they didn't want the poison to go into the earth.
That's right.
So when you study the Black Plague, they didn't bury those bodies. They burned them. Thank you, brother. Because if they put all that stench and dirt and filth in the earth, it would have poisoned the earth. So he's not a created man. He's a made man. And that's why he's evil. There's no spirit in him. So we, brothers and sisters, are created in image and likeness of the Most High. The devil no longer has to do anything because the gods and goddesses have been set on automatic. Cruise control. Now he sits back in the driver's seat and we take him everywhere he wants to go. As I put on my Facebook page this past week, COINTELPRO is us. It used to be the FBI, the white man, the government. We're COINTELPRO now. We are our own.